What would a win over LSU mean for y'all this weekend?
Good question. A win over LSU for the program and for just for us as a program, I think would mean a big thing because it would be our first win over them in the conference, and that's one of the only teams in the conference that we haven't beaten yet. And it's our rivalry game. It's in our rivalry week, and especially for this season, to get the 9th win this season, to have a chance to have double-digit wins this season would be big time for us and a huge step for our program.
How would you rate your performance against Vanderbilt last weekend?
You know, I thought I played a pretty well game, and especially after coming off the bench for 3 weeks and just having to know that week that I'm the starter and have to prepare for that. But I prepare the same way every week. But I thought we played pretty well as an offense. I was told that we put up the most points, not the most points, but the most yards against Vanderbilt the entire year, and they're a pretty stout defense in a lot of different categories, especially red zone and goal line defense. So I thought I played pretty well. Completion percentage could have been higher, but I thought as far as third down conversions and moving the ball up and down the field, we did very well as an offense in total.
What did you go through at Ole Miss, and what happened the next 3 weeks?
It was just a complete offensive struggle at Ole Miss. And obviously that starts with me as a quarterback. I need to produce, and a lot of guys look to me to produce. And that game, it was just a complete offensive struggle, and they shut us down. And, things like that are going to happen no matter where you are in your football career. And if you're in the NFL, you see it happened to Peyton Manning a couple weeks ago and stuff like that. So it's going to happen. And then the next couple weeks, obviously, were hard for me having to sit and watch someone else play. Obviously I'm going to support him as much as possible because that's what I'd want him to do if I was in there. But everyone wants to be on the field, especially me. I've been a leader the whole offseason, been a leader throughout the entire season. It sucks having to sit on the bench and watch you guys go out there without you.
How was your shoulder? There's been a lot of talk about if you were healthy or not.
Yeah, my shoulder wasn't 100% during that time, especially in the Ole Miss game coming out after I think it was an AC sprain on my shoulder, and I told them I was good enough to play, and obviously it wasn't 100%, but I wanted to be there for my team. I was their quarterback the entire year. I wasn't going to let them go into a hostile environment without me, and obviously it wasn't 100% that game, but as of now, my shoulder is perfectly fine. I'm really good.
Was that going back to Mississippi State? What game did you suffer the AC sprain?
In the Alabama game.
In Alabama. How close were you to 100% though playing against Ole Miss?
It's just like I said earlier. Like I said right a second ago, I wasn't 100%, but
you were close enough to play, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you learn about yourself when you weren't playing starting? You learn anything new?
I learned probably not about myself, but about the people around me who were really there for me, who was going to be my close friends, who were going to be the people that helped me, and who were going to be the people that decided, he's not playing, I'm just going to go and talk to someone else. I'm talking about just like who's really going to be there for you and who's going to support you through no matter what. And it was all the people that I thought were going to be, my family, my friends, my girlfriend, and Coach Bev, he's always there for me. And, it's just you learn a lot about the people around you when you're in a struggle. And about yourself too. I learned a lot about myself too, but mostly about the people around me.
How much, you mentioned the offensive struggles at Ole Miss. Do you think it was more that, or was it more the fact that you were a little injured that, kind of factored into the last, 3 weeks where you weren't starting?
Is that how you pronounce that?
Can you repeat the question, what you're trying to ask?
Yeah. Do you feel like it was the offensive struggles versus Ole Miss, or the fact that your shoulder wasn't 100%? Was that the main? Which one was the main factor into not getting to start the 3 weeks?
I'm not sure what it was, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you. It's a coach's decision, and you got to respect the coach's decision to go with the guy that he feels is the most prepared and the most ready to play that next week. So it could be a number of things, but what I always try to do is no matter what position I'm in, I'm going to prepare like I'm going to be the starter. I'm going to prepare like I have to win the game. I have to go in and win the game, you know what I'm saying? And I just got to respect the coach's decision and what the way they went and just be ready to go in whenever I can.
Well, did you see all the reports that you were considering transferring, or people speculating that you would do so? And was that ever an option?
No. It's the middle of the season.
What did you do in practice, do you feel, to earn the starting job? What did you do last week? What kind of clicked for you, do you feel?
I didn't feel like I did anything different in practice. It's like I've been telling you guys forever, I'm the same exact person no matter what the situation is and no matter what's going on and whatever happens in my life, I'm going to be the same exact person on the field as I always am. And maybe I got a little more confidence back or something like that, but I would say that, I mean, I've been the same person this whole year, and obviously people are going to struggle when you play teams like Alabama and Ole Miss, some of the best defenses in the entire country. Alabama's probably the closest thing you're going to get to playing an NFL team on defense, that is. So you're going to struggle, and I don't like to let that thing affect me, and especially because I want to be there for my teammates and I want to play as best as I can for my teammates. So I'm not going to let that affect me into the next week.
Did you ever consider taking yourself out of the Ole Miss game? I mean, how much was your shoulder really bothering you?
I wouldn't say I ever considered taking myself out of the game because it bothered me a lot more in the Alabama game than it did in the Ole Miss game. And that game, I did not want to get taken out. That was my game. I want to be there for my teammates, and I had prepared the entire week with my teammates. I was the most prepared, and I wanted to be in that game and help us win that game. So, you know, I don't think in my entire life I'll ever think about taking myself out of the game for an injury unless there's a bone sticking out of me.
What about if you get a concussion and somebody makes you do it?
Okay, obviously.
Looking at LSU, what have you guys seen so far from any tape that you've watched? And kind of, I guess, what's the plan offensively to put some more points on the board and maybe, you know, not rely so much on field goals as y'all did against Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I think we have struggled with a lot during the season is scoring in the red zone and scoring when we get down into the score zone goal line area. And, you know, that's just a lot of scheme during the week. You know, we had a lot of good scheme last week. We just got caught in some bad situations where we thought they were going to do something and then they checked into something else. And like I said, Vanderbilt was a very good team in that area, and they know what to do against teams when they get down there. You know, they let us move the ball up and down the field on them a lot, but once we get down there, they really dig down, kind of like our defense. But you know, this week you're going to see a lot of similarities from Vanderbilt to LSU, and some similarities to Alabama because that's where their defensive coordinator is from. So you're going to see a lot of man coverage, you know, and they have a lot of real athletes on their team, but so do we. So I think we're going to be able to win. Our team is very confident right now. Our offense is very confident right now, so I think we'll be good.
Speaking more of that LSU defense, I know Coach Chavis is not there anymore, obviously. I'm not sure how much the defense is the same compared to how it was when he was there, but is there one of those things this week where you or Coach Favreau can go to, hey, Coach Chavis, how do we attack this LSU defense? Do you give us some hints to figure that out?
Yeah, and I know that's what Coach Spav does every week. He goes and talks to Coach Chavis and meets with him through the week on no matter what team we play because Coach Chavis knows defense and he can help him in any way possible. And this year, I think LSU is a much different defense than they were last year. I think they changed a lot of things, just how they line up to formations and stuff like that. But obviously, he's going to be a huge help. He knows their players. He knows their personnel the best out of anyone could because he was their main coach. So he's going to be able to give us some tendencies and stuff like that. But as far as scheme goes, I think they run a much different defense than they did last year.
Can you let us in a little bit on the quarterback's room this year? I mean, there's all the ups and downs. Like you said, you were trying to be supportive of your teammates even though you wanted to play, you wanted to support Kyler. Just how have you guys handled all of that?
You know, this is kind of the same thing as last year, too, with me and Kenny. And I learned a lot from that last year is that it's not Kyler's fault that he got put in the game. We're all there we all came here to play football, and we all came here to get on the field any way possible. And I respect Kyler and Jake and Connor and everyone else in that room as much as I respect anybody on this team. And so when they get in the game, I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to be helping them because not only I want them to succeed, I want us as a team to score, and I want us to succeed on offense. So whenever I see stuff going on the field, I'm going to try and talk to Coach Spav about it no matter if I'm in the game or not, or when we're watching film after the game, I'm trying to critique them and help them out as much as possible because right now I'm the most experienced one in the room as a sophomore, and so I'm going to try and help them out as much as possible.
Do you think maybe it's because y'all are all so young, or in Jake's case, new to the program, that you can survive through that kind of a roller coaster, as far as depth chart roller coaster?
I mean, I'm not sure I really understand the question.
Well, I think an older quarterback might be a little irritated if he got benched, but maybe because Kyler's a teenager, you're pretty young.
I mean, I think any quarterback in any situation would be irritated at getting benched, no matter who you are. And if you're not, you shouldn't be playing the game.
Well, how do you then channel that irritation into a positive way? Because it seems like you do.
You just can't let it affect your life. There's so much else going on in life than football. So many other great things in life than being on the football field and being the guy, you know. There's a lot of great things. You know, I have a lot of great relationships here. I have a lot of great relationships made outside of football, and you can't let that affect your life. And I'm not going to let one decision on a football field affect the way I live the rest of my life. So I just try and learn from things, learn from mistakes and stuff like that, and move on and try to live the best and most positive life I can.
Kyle, you said before, talking to us about you studied college football, you watched a lot of games. What about playing at Tiger Stadium? Death Valley's got a lot of play nationally. Have you seen it on TV and thinking about going playing there?
Oh, yeah, and that's a stadium that my dad has been to many times, and he used to rave about it when we were kids, when we used to watch LSU and Alabama play when we were kids back there. And it's a crazy stadium. No matter how the team's doing, it's rivalry week. We're gonna go in there, and that stadium's gonna be packed. It's gonna be loaded, and it's gonna be an awesome environment. And I haven't had the chance to play there yet. Well, I'm fortunate enough to have the chance to play here this year, so I'm very excited about it. And I don't know if I told you guys this. I feel like I've said it before, but I love playing on the road. It's a very exciting environment, and just to see the best places to play in the country in the SEC and go around and play at those places it's an awesome experience, and it's not an experience that most people get to have in other conferences, because really every stadium in the SEC fills out no matter where you go.
Why is it your dad would go to LSU so much?
He used to volunteer for the Fiesta Bowl for about 15 years, and so he used to go around, and they would have them scout teams and stuff like that. So they would fly out and scout some games and stuff, and so he was at a bunch of big games. He was at the 2006 National Championship, the Texas USC game. He was there, and he was at the Louisville-Rutgers game when they kicked that winning field goal. And he's been to a bunch of places and told me so many stories. And that's another reason I love college football. I grew up in it.
Did he get to wear the bold blazers? So he was the yellow blazer.
Yeah, the yellow jacket.
And that your dad.
Kyle, do you have any favorite Thanksgiving memories from when you were a kid?
I wouldn't say any college football memories, but we would always have a turkey bowl on Thanksgiving for one of our high school coaches that died of cancer like 5 or 6 years back. We call it the Bemis Bowl, and we would get all the high schools around in our district, and we would come and play a flag football game on Thanksgiving and donate a bunch of money. And that was probably one of the most awesome experiences I've been able to be a part of. And it sucks not being able to go home and do that the last couple of years, but that's really what I remember about Thanksgiving when football was going there and doing that.